right, a little bit of acceleration. Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and I am in a 2024 Civic Type R, and spoiler alert, I love this car. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons to buy this car in this video. I might even give you some more reasons, and in between the reasons, I'm even going to give you a couple things you might not like about this car so you can make an educated decision. And the reason number 4 and 5 are going to actually surprise you. They're not going to be what you think, so make sure you watch this video to the end. So while we're sitting here on the red light, the first thing I could tell you what I love about this car, and one of the reasons you must buy it, is the price. This car brand new is under $46,000. Now there is a little bit of a caveat because it's hard to get this car for MSRP. Most dealers are probably still selling it for over. I have a couple friends that bought them and paid a couple thousand over, but there's crazy dealer markups on this car, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I think we're at the point now, July of 2024, where if you shop around, you can get several examples at MSRP. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is what I'm doing right now. This shifter is amazing. It's got auto rev match. It's got a hill hold. Now, when I first got this car, I was rev matching myself, but it does rev match automatically in the default setting, and the rev matching is better this time than it was in the previous generation Type R. But one of the reasons you buy this car is the shifter. We're going to downshift. It's going to rev match for us. There you go. Now, what car can you get for $46,000 under? I think this car is like $45,900 with roughly just over $1,000 in destination charges. So what new car can you get with the warranty that's this much fun to drive for under $46,000 with a great shifting manual transmission? There are other cars with manual transmissions, but guess what? The manual is more of an afterthought, checking the box. Yeah, we offer a manual transmission to enthusiasts, but the shifter is not that great. And you know the companies I'm talking about. This shifter is great. Now, a couple things with this knob here, this aluminum knob or whatever it is, it's very hot in the summer. So there's a heat wave in the 7 days I got this car, and this is the 7th day. So they're coming to get it. This is my last drive. They're coming to take it back. This has been hot, unbelievably hot, like burning your hands when it was 95 degrees today. And I'm sure in the winter when it's 20 degrees, this will feel like it's 0. But this afternoon, it felt like it was about 120 degrees holding this. All right, so we got the shifter. We got the value. Number 3, very obvious one, fun to drive. I'm already, they give you a free tank of gas with a press car. I'm already at the bottom of the 2nd gallon of gas that I paid for. And that's how much I've driven this car. Why? Because I can't stop driving it. There are great cars out there that you could certainly buy, but most of the great cars now, you got to spend 70, 80, 90,000 if you want it new to get a great car that you're going to look back at and take for a drive anytime you have, say, a good run, no traffic on some curvy roads. Now, some downsides, there is torque steer, which I'll demonstrate in this video and some accelerations later. The suspension is very stiff, so this is definitely a level or 2 above the stiffness of the Acura Type S, which we're going to have a video of that coming up. I may actually have even posted that video. Now, another downside, which you're going to see in a second, and these really aren't many downsides. There's a huge back seat, a huge trunk area. Can easily fit my hockey bag with the hatchback, but it's very, very, very low to the ground. So you really got to be careful. I would bottom out here in a regular car. Let's do that. So I really got to slow down. So you got to make sure the person behind you is paying attention. I mentioned the torque steer. I mentioned the stiffness in the suspension. The air conditioning isn't that great. I have a lot of 10 and 20-year-old cars, and my 2005 NSX I think blows colder air than this does when it's hot. Now it's nice and cool because I've been running it for 20 minutes to get to this location. But if you haven't been doing that, it takes a while to cool the car off. The air comes out cold, but it's not very strong. All right, so reason number 3, it's fun to drive. Again, for the price, $46,000 and a manual transmission. For the money, I think this is probably one of the most fun cars to drive. I'd probably say this, the Miata. If you like convertibles, we love that Z4 manual for 2025, but that is a much higher price point at $77,000. So once you factor in price, how good this shifter is, it is really something you're going to desire. All right, so reason number 4 is going to surprise you. I was shocked at this. Number 4 is the Bose stereo system. I'm shocked. I'm probably the only influencer that would say that, but for this price point, $46,000, it is really, really good. Usually, I don't even listen to the stereo on these cars. I listen to the engine going through the gears. But since I had this car for a week, you know, I've taken it to work, I've taken it to the gym, I've taken it on errands. So sitting in traffic, I listened to the radio, and it's good. I was like, wow, the stereo system is really good. Now let's talk about gas mileage. Honda says you should average about 24 and 25 miles to the gallon. Again, I'm through my second tank of gas, driving just like this, having fun. I'm at 18.7, so that's my average. That includes very little highway, so more back roads. So I think it's supposed to be like, I don't know, 20, 27, somewhere in that range, which is an average of 24. So if we look at it that way, since I'm doing mainly city driving, not really bumper to bumper traffic, but just having fun on the back roads, it's doing all right. All right, and now what we're gonna do is I'll tell you the number one thing. Now, the number one thing I can tell you right now is people are gonna say this R button, turning it into R mode. And they're not wrong, but R mode, I swear that the power for this car, brakes work, I swear that the power from this car, all the boost is coming in R mode. If you drive it in comfort mode, it's almost like asleep. And sport mode is better, and R mode is where it's at. But the number one thing that made me love this car, and when I did a first drive a month ago out of state at a press event, I didn't even configure this mode. So this has totally transformed the car for me. So at the press event, I had about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to drive the car, and I loved it. I said in the video how good it was. You know what? We could probably go, they're going that way, so we're gonna go right. And there's the torque steer we talked about. But what really transformed this car, and we may have to do it at the next red light, but what really transformed the car is the buttons here. So which the good thing is you can go in R mode, and I love this tachometer. So we have the instrumentation for R mode, and it reminds me of my S2000. I think it's supposed to be a Formula One car, but as you know, if you follow the channel, I own 3 Honda Acuras, an NSX, which is original NSX, an 05 rear drive, an 04 S2000 rear drive, and a 2022 Acura RDX. So this is front drive. I'm not the craziest about front wheel drive cars, but this is probably the best modern front wheel drive car. So if we drive in R mode, the downside is the suspension is really stiff and bouncy. It's really bouncing around, and we're on a very smooth road. So the secret sauce, and we'll do it right here at this light because this is a long light. The secret sauce for this car, and totally transformed the car for me, is not the comfort or sport setting. So the good thing about R, you press it, you're in R mode, you press it again, you're off. And to me, the car is fast in R mode. There's a big difference when it's not. So now we can go into comfort. It starts in sport, which is fantastic. You actually have to put it in comfort, which is still stiff, but not as stiff as sport mode. So now we can go into individual and customize it. And now we can get the settings for everything, the engine, the suspension, the rev match. I'm gonna put the gauges in R mode, and it totally transforms the car. I'm even gonna put the rev match, we only could do rev matching in sport, but we're gonna put everything in R mode except for the rev matching, which the most aggressive is sport. But the key to this car, to enjoy it and love this car every day, is put the suspension in comfort. So use individual. Now we have the R instrumentation that we had before. We have the power and the throttle. Now, I don't know that it's giving you necessarily less horsepower, but it's a revier engine. So it's almost like you put a sprint booster in your car. So my first Porsche 911 was a 9960 4S, and it was kind of lethargic when you first hit the gas. But I put in a Sprint booster, which kind of eliminated that lag, even though it's a naturally aspirated engine just from the throttle, and it totally transformed the car. So when we drive in R mode here, we get the gauges, we get that quick pedal acceleration, lively throttle, which really wakes this car up. Now it feels like the car just had 5 cups of coffee, and it is absolutely phenomenal. But you have to keep the suspension on comfort, because the suspension isn't that comfortable to begin with, to be honest with you. So I think you really need, we'll go this way, what you really need is to keep this suspension as soft as possible. I think there's some kind of software mod you could do to this car. I think there's some kind of software mod you could do to this car that gives you the Type S suspension, and that's a little softer, and I think that would be the key. So, do you love red seats? Hopefully you do, because you get them no matter what. So you could pick from 5 different colors. What is there? White, black, red. I believe there's like a gray, like a Nardo gray color, and then like a electric blue, which is probably what I would choose, but I like the red as well. The interior only comes one way, the black with the red seats, and the red seats for Type R are only red in the front. So that was the key to enjoying this car, and actually took me a couple days to figure that out. Individual mode, sometime, you know, I used to go with the sport throttle and the softest suspension, and it makes a difference, but not a huge difference. In this car, it makes a huge difference. That's how you want to drive the car. Put R in everything but the suspension, because even in a smooth road like this, it's still on the stiff side. But I love this car, and I think if you have the means for $46,000, if you can get one for sticker, and shop around. You don't have to, there's a million Honda dealers out there. You don't have to shop from the Honda dealer that's closest to you. Remember, you can get your car serviced anywhere. I buy cars out of state all the time and then have it serviced at one of my local dealers. The service center, I promise you, won't care where you bought the car from. All right, so that's why I love this car. I gave you the very few downsides: stiff ride, weak air conditioning, hot shifter, hot or cold shifter, some torque steer. Like if you see how we accelerate there, and see it's going all the way around, because you remember, you're only using the front wheels to do everything, so it does pull to the side. Not as bad as a 1990s or early 2000s Saab, but for a modern car, it probably has some torque steer. But again, you got a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 315 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque. I love this car. They're coming to take it away from me, so this is my last drive. I wanted you to be on board for my first drive with this car and my last drive, and you were. So thanks for your support. Best way you could support the channel is subscribe, hit the notification bell. I do a full-length video like this every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Watch. Everybody runs stop signs. And then I have shorts Tuesday through Sunday. So now you get Glenn's Car Collection 7 days a week. But you only get the shorts in your feed if you subscribe and hit the notification bell. So make sure you do that. Here's some torque steer. Watch. See, there you go. So make sure you do all that and subscribe, because it's free. Leave a comment and like the video, so to help me in the algorithm, and leave a comment, leave 2 comments, one on this car, and then the second comment is what you want me to review next. If I have enough people commenting on a certain car, I can go to a dealer or to the manufacturer itself and say, all these people want me to see review that, and I'm sure they will give me the car. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.